What's up, y'all? It's Chris, arch-usa.com. Please take a second to like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And I'm making sure I put that in at the beginning of the video because I know no one stays longer than a minute to 2 minutes on the channel. So let's jump right into it. This is my list of the top 20 shoes from 2021. Now, when I sit down and I do a list like this, I use these basically kind of aspects. I build my ranking list on what I call maps and fins. And these are acronyms that I made up, and that's materials, aesthetics, price, packaging, storytelling, functionality, interesting design elements, narrative, and sales. Now I stopped right there. Those are ads. When you're looking over here to the side, those are ads. Hoka didn't make my top 21. They could have, but they did not make my top 20 for 2021. Hopefully you guys will enjoy this list. It's a little bit different. I'm not going to be popping things up since I'm videotaping, and you can take a look right to my side over here and see what I chose. Let's get to it. All right, so my number 20 shoe is from somewhere in America, and it's the Vulture Kickflips Cork. And I'm sure somebody's asking why. I have a very detailed explanation for why somewhere in America made it into my top 20 shoes for 2021 with this kickflip cork. And primarily, it was because this thing doesn't look like anything else that was released last year. More important, it's an independent brand. And the fact that the guy that makes the shoes is capable of selling out of these shoes instantly is extremely impressive. But the idea that he was bold enough to take a shoe and make it out of cork. Now, we know Nike's done this and a lot of other brands have attempted it. But for a small independent brand to use a material that is not just a basic leather, it's very experimental, and I respect the hell out of somewhere in America. So that's number 20. Let's keep going and we won't stay on these that long. And the next shoe is the Veja V10 Suede Multicolor Natural Babe. And it looks like an Air Force One. Now, before someone says, well, why didn't you just put an Air Force One on here? Up here at the top, I explain in great detail that these are the rules. And I'm going backwards just because I should have done this at the beginning, but we'll just go through it now. I'm not putting any Air Force Ones or Air Jordan retros on this list. So if you're a fan of those shoes and you see them in the background, I'm a fan of them as well. They won't make it on the list because what you're typically doing with that shoe is taking the materials, changing the materials, putting a different tag on it or something like that. And that's not very innovative. All right. I don't want to focus on shoes that have been out before. That doesn't mean that I don't want to focus on design that is similar to those classic designs from Adidas Forums, Nike Dunks. But no Nike Dunks, no Jordans show up on this list. Well, there is one. And that's for a particular reason. Let's get back to it. All right, so the Veja. The Veja makes it on this list because you see this green leaf on the side. The shoe is made up of Amazonian rubber. It's 31%, rice waste, 22%, recycled rubber, 12%. Anytime you see Move to Zero and Nike Grind, those shoes are up to a particular amount of recycled material. This thing is made as sustainably as possible for a new release shoe. And it's a classic court look, but I happen to think it's a beautiful palette of colors and sustainability. So that's why the Veja made it to number 19. Let's go to the next one, and that is the Filling Pieces Curb Era. And somebody right now is saying it looks like a Dunk / Jordan. Why not just put a Jordan? Look at that shoe. Look over there. The materials on that model are pristine. You sit this shoe next to the New Balance 550, which is on everybody's list, and the New Balance 550 looks cheap. It looks cheap. The only reason I don't have that shoe in my hand is because it went up to a 46. I'm a 47, right? So we're looking at European sizes when I say that. I'm a size 13. So in a lot of instances, I miss out on some very well-designed shoes because the sizing just doesn't work for me. Now, one other reason that the shoe showed up is because Filling Pieces has switched over to what's called a 683 line, and that 683 line is all eco-friendly and sustainably made. You'll start capturing that a lot of the shoes that I put on this list are there because they're eco-friendly. This model, the Curb Era, is not, but I thought it was an amazing, a beautiful, elegant, classic look for a shoe that just dropped this year. So let's keep going. Number 18. Number 17 is the Echo Chunky. Why not put a Yeezy? I know that's what somebody's saying. Why not put a... If you take the time and look up Echo, and you look at the leather that Echo uses, because they have their own factory, and they tan their own leather, the materials are light years ahead of what we get on a Yeezy shoe. But this is a women's model. The color is multicolor and toffee. And when you take a second to look at it, you'll understand why it's on there. Maybe you will, maybe you won't, but it's on my list. It's at number 17. So let's get to number 17. We won't stay on it that long. Remember, down in the description, you're going to be able to look at this list in great detail. So my number 16 is not the 550, where everybody had the 550 on their list this year. My number 16 is New Balance's BB 9000. It's not a true basketball shoe. It's a lifestyle shoe. They should convert it into a basketball shoe. I would love to see this model used in collabs. The materials, excellent. That gum outsole, the way it sits like a welt around the edge, the model is beautiful. Somewhere, somebody's saying, nah, son, that's whack. Me, I'm looking at that and all I see is classic basketball shoes. Every basketball shoe that's made today is made out of knit. It doesn't have any real material, so you don't get great color blocking. You end up with all of this, and I just did an article on that, which I'll probably do a video for, so you should go and check that out as well. Maybe I'll put a link to it up here or over here. But this BB 9000, from the moment I saw it, I thought it was a beautifully made shoe. So let's keep rolling and get to number 15. Number 15 is a boot. Notice I didn't say top sneakers. I said top kicks of 2021. The Aram Zero Cold Expedition boot, I think, is beautiful. More important, you see over here to the side, the little green side, that little green leaf, it's sustainable as well. And that's pretty important. Remember, I'm big on shoes where when we buy them, we don't have to buy another shoe for a while. And this boot is made to be resold. And they came up with a term called biocircular. I would ask you, if you are considering buying a boot, check this company out because the shoes are beautiful. There's only 2 SKUs right now. It's not a bunch of SKUs. There's only 2 SKUs right now. But the Aram Zero Cold, made by basically the family that founded Timberland, made this shoe. I don't know what else I can tell you. That's pretty dope. It's pretty good. My number 14 shoe is from Brand Black. Many of you know I have a lot of Brand Black shoes. I love Brand Black. But here's the crazy thing. If you go and take a look at Nike's most recent Blazer Jumbo, go and take a look at it. And what you're going to recognize is that it looks a lot like this Brand Black shoe. But this boot, sneaker boot, it features what's called Vibram Wrap Tech. It wraps up. You see how the outsole just kind of wraps around the top of the shoe? It's extremely comfortable. It's rugged. It's water resistant. But this is the Brand Black Mil Spec White. I love that shoe. I don't know what you think about it, but I think it's dope. It looks futuristic with that pop of orange. It makes me feel like maybe Virgil's watching or something like that. But I love the Brand Black. Number 14 is Brand Black Mil Spec White. The number 13 shoe is from Solomon. Probably doesn't show up on anybody else's list. They are kind of a company that's being more hyped now, but it's the Fellraiser. And I couldn't find out whether or not the model is made of recycled uniforms, but that is what the description says. But when I see this shoe, for some reason, as a matter of fact, if you look at that shoe and then you look at the jacket I'm wearing, it's in one of my favorite colors. And I think maybe that's what it is. And that's what kind of caught me this year when I saw it. It sold out instantly. You can't find it. It's not in resale. Hopefully they'll re-release it next year sometime and I'll be able to pick that shoe up. But I love the Solomon Fellraiser. It's a collab with Fellraiser. And the GR10K. I love this shoe. I think it's incredible. That's my number 13. Let's keep going. I know you guys are like, dude, this video is long. And I'm okay with that because a longer video, you can break it up and come back to it if you're logged into your YouTube account. So log in, subscribe, check it out, and let's keep going. We're on number 12. It's here because Adidas bought Terex. Now, those of you guys that don't know what Terex is, it's an outdoor brand. Adidas bought them, and then they began to implement the Terex concepts into their sneaker lines. So you get this model that, one, you're not wearing that to be outside hiking. That thing is all white. But this is the catch. You see the leaf. The entire shoe is made to be remade. And that's the name of it, made to be remade. There were several different versions of the Ultra Boost that dropped last year that were made to be remade. The entire shoe can be recycled. Very important thing, man. We love sneakers. Sneaker people want more and more and more stuff. We always want sneakers, but it contributes to a lot of waste that goes into landfills. So you have to be very careful about what you're buying now. We keep our shoes. A lot of people buy them, they use them, they throw them away. This is a shoe that can be sent back into Adidas and they can chop that joint up and reuse it in new shoes. Now, the only reason it's not higher is because Adidas has to use it and they have to use some virgin materials. Let's get over to number 11 because I know somebody's like, yo, let's get on down the list. Number 11 is the Clearweather Cantera Galaga. Remember, I said materials, design. There's not another shoe on the market that looks like that. Not another shoe. Their sizing, horrible. I had a couple of pair of Clearweathers I picked up from a store here in Memphis, and I got them in a 13. Big mistake. I needed to get a 14. And they didn't even have 14, so I had to just kind of gift them to someone else. But this is the killer part about this shoe. That's a doggone hairy suede at the front, tumbled leather, and then hairy suede at the back. And then you see the different pulls all the way around the shoe. Are you going to use this for skating? Probably not. Could you use it for skating? As rugged as it is? Definitely. And Clearweather is a skate brand. And a lot of people don't realize that. But man, that shoe, you sit it next to anything else. I don't care what it is. You go and grab a Dunk. You go and grab a Jordan 1. You sit this shoe next to anything else. Everybody's going to be like, yo, what are those? And not, what are those? What are those? That shoe is fly. It's fly. It's not in my top 10, but it's number 11. Let's get to the top 10. You guys ready? Drum roll. Top 10. The first shoe is going to be the community-made Traction 2.0 Brick. Why? You see the leaf. Remember, my list is going to consist of things that are a little bit different than everybody else's. This shoe is handmade in downtown Los Angeles. There's no shipping across the ocean. There's no storage. There's no freight. The carbon footprint for this shoe is immediately diminished because it's not made until you request it. Now, you can request it in this brick colorway, but you can also come back and get this mud card section made out of any color that you want through a program that they have where they do customs. Now, you saw a long time ago that I did a custom with Community Made. I own several pairs of the shoes. They are number 10 because this midsole, not only the fact that there's no shipping involved when you make it, this midsole, you guys see how it looks kind of chunky? It's a Vibram outsole, but this midsole is made of 85% recycled material. 85% is an insane number for a sneaker midsole to be made out of. It's also their first foray into something that can be considered performance. Community Made created a fantastic pair of shoes. Is it pricey? Definitely. But it's made in the USA. It should be number one simply based on that. Should be number one based on the fact that it's an 85% recycled midsole. Should be number one because you can make it in any color that you want. And if you rocking that, nobody else is. You can actually get it made so that you're the only person that has that particular color. That's fly as, if you don't agree, hey, c'est la vie. Let's keep going. My number 10, community made. My number 9, the Clarks Tour Run. I'm wearing Clarks now. Should I back up and do this? Yeah, bam. This is the A Street. This is the Sanford, right? The Clarks Tour Run. Do I even have to say anything? Oh, it is sustainable. You see the green leaf. It has the most eco-friendly outsole to ever drop from Clarks. Sit that next to an Air Max. Sit it next to a Shell Toe. Sit it next to a New Balance 574. Sit it next to whatever you want to sit it next to. And guess what's going to happen? People are not going to look at those. They're going to look at these. This joint is fly. Comes in multiple colorways. The materials are better than most of the things that you can buy from a dress shoe company. The Tour Run is my number 9 shoe. Let's keep it rocking. The number 8 shoe, and then I know this is like comfortable territory for all of us because it's Nike. It's the Zoom Alpha Fly Next Nature. Why is this shoe my number 8? It's the most sustainable shoe Nike has ever created. And I hope that it moves Nike towards creating more product that's just as sustainable. About 50% of this shoe is recycled. That's incredible. More important though, and here we go with story. Remember, my top 10 also includes story. The Olympics saw that this shoe basically won in every doggone track and field event. It was an incredible shoe for Nike. The concepts for the shoe began with Breaking 2. I don't know if you remember when Eliud Kipchoge did Breaking 2, not the Electric Boogaloo, but the event where Nike tried to get a sub 2-hour marathon. They didn't quite make it. They missed it by about 5 seconds, which is incredible. But the technology, the materials, the story of how it performed extremely well in the Olympics, that makes the Zoom Alpha Fly Next Nature number 8. Number 7, the Under Armour Hover Summit FT. It is not sustainable. And someone's like, dude, really? And I'm like, dude, really? We have 2 pair of these joints in the house. Extremely difficult to get. Sells out every time it comes out. You probably haven't seen anybody with it. It's not released in big quantities, but this color just feels like Wu-Tang to me, man. It's like this Killer Bee combination. I love the Hover Summit FT, and it feels like a dream to wear. Super cushioned, super bouncy, and it looks great. Looks great. And obviously that minimized underarm logo goes a long way towards making it a lot more stylish. But when you wear the right kind of clothing with this shoe, it turns heads. I don't care who is around. And it's one of those shoes where everything just worked well. The shoe originally dropped in 2020, but they didn't release that many. It was basically a friends and family. So you get the Under Armour Hover Summit Fat Tire at number 7. Number 6 is the Reebok Cotweiler Zig. Now, Cotweiler is a brand over in the UK. The shoe is sustainable. It looks like what Yeezy wants to build. And I'm sure somebody's like, well, yeah, Reebok is owned by Adidas. It's water repellent. It's only 180 versus 240 for a 700 boost. And the materials here are excellent. The materials here are just perfect. Now, what you can't see is the top of the shoe makes the Vector logo. It's dope, man. I don't know why I like this shoe so much, but I do. You can't find it anywhere. It's not like outrageous in resale, but I think it's a very nice shoe. At number 6, I think it's well worth the 180. It's just a great looking shoe. Number 5, and I'm pretty sure no one has the North Face Vective Terraval Street on their top 21 list at all. But look at the materials. More important, the North Face was not into trail running a year ago. They were, but because of materials and clothing and things that you wear. The North Face is not recognized as a sneaker brand. And this shoe, doesn't it give you like early ACG vibes? It's a trail shoe, but look at the suede here, the premium leather, the lacing system, that pop of purple. It reminds you in some ways of the Air Moab, doesn't it? Or is it just me? But that's a beautiful shoe. And it features a rocker outsole. What does the rocker outsole do? It continuously propels you forward when you're jogging. And that's one of those things where I didn't learn this because I didn't wear Hokas and I didn't run out and get these big kind of rocker soled shoes. I got a brand black this year and I wore it and I was like, yo, these don't feel like anything else. I keep feeling like I'm moving forward. I finally got a running shoe in a ZR01 from Zen Running Club that features a rocker outsole, and I love it. As a bigger guy, those outsoles help you run better. And this is a trail shoe with fantastic materials, and I'm asking you right now to think about the fact that this shoe, if it gets a collab, what do you think is going to happen? That thing is going to explode. Great looking model from North Face. Once again, you see the colors there. I'm obviously big on this color. Over to my number 4 shoe, which could have been my number 1, but because Adidas did something this year that really it bothered me when they went and launched this NFT stuff. This is the first time you've seen 2 competitive brands join forces. If you can think of another occasion, let me know in the comments, but I don't think there is. Unless you count like Nike and Converse, but they're not competitors. Nike owns Converse. You think about the Shaq Gnosis and the Dame Lillard mashup. Adidas owned Reebok. So that's not quite competitors joining forces. This is the very first time that we've seen sneaker brands who are competitors join to create a shoe that has a carbon, you see the little leaf over here, it has a 2.94 kilogram carbon footprint. It is the lowest carbon footprint of any shoe created. Now, I don't have the measurements of the community-made shoe. Because the community-made shoe doesn't have any shipping involved in the process of it being created, it may rival the Allbirds Time Adidas Futurecraft footprint. But this is a shoe that only rings up at $120. It takes the best of the tech from Allbirds and the best of the tech from Adidas, and the shoe can be recycled and remade. It's a beautiful job by Adidas to introduce a product with a competitor, and that hasn't been done before, and that's why it's my number 4 shoe. Let's keep going and get to it. The Nike Air Zoom GT Cut is my number 3 shoe. And I'm sure somebody's like, why? No. And I'm like, yeah. One shoe last year in resale that had the biggest margins of any sneaker in resale that was a general release. It was this shoe, the GT Cut. This shoe was made, I feel, like it was designed with Kobe in mind. And when the relationship fell apart between the Kobe Bryant estate and Nike, it had to be converted. So it became the Zoom GT Cut. But this shoe features a drop-in React sole, right? It also features a Zoom Strobel. Remember, my guidelines for putting my list together was tech, materials, story. The shoe killed at the Olympics. It's the last time I think the U.S. is going to win gold because the rest of the world is catching up with us. So this shoe is going to have a story in the future. It only released during the time that the Olympics were going on this year, or 2021, last year, right? But it's a model that incorporates more tech than any basketball shoe from Nike outside of maybe the KD. But here's the interesting thing. It's sold out everywhere. If Ja Morant is going to get a signature shoe, it should be this one. The GT Cut is an amazing shoe from Nike. It's a technical wonder. Even though it has something that looks a lot like Anafoam on the top from Under Armour, and I'm not big on knits, this thing has the most beautiful lines of any shoe Nike has released. Look at the shape of that shoe. Look at the shape of that shoe. It's incredible. My number 2 shoe for 2021 is the only retro model that shows up on this list, and people talk crazy about it. If you've watched this station and you know I'm a huge fan of the Jordan 2 because I could not get it when I was in school. We couldn't afford it. I never owned it until the QF version came out a few years ago. But it's the Virgil Abloh Off-White times Air Jordan 2 Retro Low. Rest in peace, Virgil. For a man that has done as much as he's done for sneakers, negatively, positively, whatever you feel, the brother took a classic model that is not loved by sneaker culture. Look, you walk outside of this office and over here on the wall is a scuffed and just beat up Air Jordan 2 QF that I hooped in, that my son hooped in, that all of this, I mean, it's a beautiful model. And the fact that this is what he'll be, this will be his swan song in a sense, because we know that there are other models that will come out that he's designed, but this was the last one that he made while he was here. That story and the rest in peace and the memories that we all have from this shoe, whether, like I said, it was negative or positive, it's an amazing and memorable moment for us all to recognize a giant. It's my number 2 shoe. What could be number 1? What could be? How do you rival Virgil? The story. My number 1 shoe this year is the Sage Track Spike. And right now, somebody's saying, I don't even know what that is. One of the greatest athletes in the history of track and field gets pregnant with her first child. Her sponsor and the brand that she's worn for all of these years, they cut her funding because she's pregnant. That same brand is later found to sponsor a track and field program that ended the careers of women sprinters and abused those same women. And they're the same company that I have 2 times in this top 10. I've given them a pass. We all have given them a pass. The world gives Nike a pass and celebrates every drop that they make, making Nike the biggest sportswear brand in the world. This woman athlete leaves Nike behind. She has to get a C-section to deliver her baby girl. She begins to train again. The Gap, a brand from the Gap, Athleta, steps in to sponsor her and endorse this athlete who could be on the road to becoming the most decorated track and field athlete of all time. But she has to fight back as one of the oldest athletes in the Tokyo 2021 Olympics. She fights her way back and makes it to the Olympics. At 35, she wins a bronze in the 400 meter individual. She then runs a second leg in the 4x400 meters and wins gold. The amazing thing is she accomplishes all of this as the first athlete to ever medal wearing their own shoes. Find another story like that in sneakers. And then challenge me on this being my number one shoe. Allison Felix won 11 medals, which leaves her as the most decorated woman in Olympic track and field history, with more athletics medals than any other American. And she did it in a brand that she developed. The Sage One. It's for women, by women. Allison Felix, my number one shoe of 2021. Hope you guys, if you watch to the end, you know what? I'll give away some StockX stuff because I have this big giant box. And if you made it all the way to the end and you were like, yo, I watched this, find my email. First person that emails me that sees this, I'll send you some StockX stuff. I mean, I know somebody's like, I don't want no StockX. Maybe you do. I got throws. I got coffee, candles. I'll send you some stuff. I don't know how much I'll send you, but I'm going to put it in a box and ship it. That's it. That's the list. I'm done. Like, share, and subscribe. If you enjoyed this video, most of them, I'm going to start doing more videos like this, and I hope you guys appreciate it. That's it, and I will definitely see you guys on the next one. Peace.